The year was 2004, and the song Holla Back Girl was becoming one of Gwen Stefani's most iconic single hits, while I was a young, almost 21-year-old, single and utterly free, born and raised San Diegan, enjoying my life, taking classes I would never use on job references, wasting away my life, living it up. This reality would suddenly shift on New Year's Eve during the Soma Presents show at the sports arena. Headliners like Strung Out and Taking Back Sunday and so many other bro bands were the backdrop to a clusterfuck of black hair dye, heavy eyeliner, studded belts, and Dickies. It was the countdown ushering in the new year when Pennywise paused Bro Him to chant with the crowd, 5, 4, 3, 2. I turned around anxiously to eye fuck the room and pluck out my midnight good luck kiss when standing directly behind me was an emo 2000 hunk in all his sad, mysterious glory. His name was Zach. He was everything I was looking for. A 23-year-old man with his hair dyed black with bright red streaks. He was wearing a black shirt, black hoodie, and revealing his hand and neck tattoos. He had long black shorts that showed off his leg sleeve of stars and his black Converse towering at 6'3". Me, wet as fuck. As I turned around, we made immediate eye contact and wished each other a happy new year. We went in for a friendly, hi, nice to meet you hug, but we both turned our heads inward and kissed for the sake of convenience and raging hormones. He lived far out in East County, so getting back to his apartment was a bit of a mission. But for this Gerard Way lookalike, I was like the Simple Plan lyrics, I'd do anything. Na, 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 na. When we arrived at his place, I thought it was adorable how he ran around quickly collecting trash and simultaneously grabbing the dirty dishes from the sink in desperate need of a pre-rinse and just throwing them into the dishwasher. There he was, my New Year's dreamboat, and I was locked in bad. That night, I did my first beer bong. And for somebody who hardly drank, I also had my first experience of shitting in a dude's bathroom and having him walk in. Luckily, my new guy was cool with it. And he said through the wall, the bong really blows it out of you, eh? Part of me died. But a lot of me lived that night as well. We stayed up for 24 hours, playing cards, playing with body parts, and watching the sun rise and collapse again. I didn't go home for several weeks, and on night 14 at his place, while conveniently already on his knees from eating me out, he asked me to marry him. Of course I said yes. Because who in their right, been up for weeks and drunk 20-whatever-year-old, would say no? Not I. No, not I. A week after that, his mom took me shopping for a ring. Looking back now as a mother myself, I cannot imagine being that on board with the horrible idea of committing to marriage after purely surface courtship. Things were definitely moving fast, but so much magic was being packed into these first few weeks together. I turned 21, and we celebrated, ironically, in TJ where you can drink at 18. I drank every shot that followed the screeching sound of the waiter's whistle. I won the stripping contest, and I puked as soon as we crossed the border barefoot. We road tripped to San Francisco and belted along to the Atari's latest album, So Long Astoria, practicing the fine art of receiving and the tricky art of giving comfortable roadhead for the 7-hour drive. After San Francisco, I took my first plane ride to Chicago to celebrate Zach's great-grandmother's 99th birthday. To memorialize the trip, we got matching Alkaline Trio tattoos. I mean, this was also Matt Skiba's hometown and the location of our favorite live record, Halloween at the Metro. When we returned to San Diego, I gave my 24-hour notice to my landlord, formerly known as Mom. I announced, I'm moving in with Zach and Travis, his roommate. The three of us established a quick routine of staying up late to play Mario Kart, while all sharing the heroic responsibility of fetching burritos and carne asada fries from the 24 hours seedy taco shop. I felt like everything had fallen into its place of belonging. I was happy. I was in love. Y'all, I was getting fucking married. Come Valentine's Day, my new fiancé wanted to really pull out all the shots for his bride-to-be. He wanted to do drugs and stay home and fuck all night. I had hit the jackpot. Being the good Catholic schoolgirl that my parents put themselves in debt to afford me to be, I didn't do drugs, but I definitely had friends that did. I was too insecure to admit to my fiancé that I wasn't really into doing ecstasy because I was really, really into doing sex. So I came up with this valiant scheme to champion the night by finding us the drug hookup, and from there pretending to take the pills with him. Because how hard could pretending to roll really be? While driving home after the pickup, I had an easy 4-step scheme to pull off everything. Step 1, grab the gum from out of my mouth and put the pill inside the gum. Step 2, toss the gum out of the car window. Step 3, take a big gulp of Zach's water bottle for effect. And then step 4, begin to act sensual and sensitive all over while cranking house music high enough to bust my shitty stock car radio and my 99 Mitsubishi Eclipse. I am proud to share that my 4-step trademarked plan worked, and Zach was as happy as a baby sucking on his pacifier while fingering me the entire way back to his house. When we arrived in the driveway and parked, it was go time. His tongue was so far down my ear and hands so far up my skirt that we slow walked like cats in heat up the concrete stairs to his unit. Once inside, I immediately noted the video camera he had set up ready to hit record. Kinky. I excused myself to the bathroom and put on some trash red lingerie set that was way too big in the hips and way too small on the boobs. When I returned to the bedroom, he was already naked and helping himself. Although this time, he was in a curious position I had yet to see him in previously. He was on all fours, with his head down into the pillow, moving slowly, side to side, as though he was massaging his forehead temple to temple. His ass was propped high in the sky, with a curve in the back, making that shit pop. This arrangement was also incredibly confusing, but even more so terrifyingly intimidating. Like, what exactly is my sober ass supposed to do with all this ass? I slowly and cautiously approached the bed as his hips began to sway seductively. Not knowing what else to say, I revert to a casual, "Hey, you." He then whipped his head around and replied aggressively, "Lick it." I couldn't help but allow a low laugh to fall out of my mouth, but I refrained from full hysteria as I noted the vulnerability all over him. I took a breath. I decided to approach this new territory with extreme compassion, open-mindedness, and love. I mean, this was my husband-to-be after all. I mean, surely I could muster up the courage to go wherever the fuck lick it is and beyond to prove my devotion and sincerity. I bent down. I glanced back at the video camera. I looked down at my engagement ring. And I looked up at that ass that he is oh so kind to be spreading open for me. I leaned in, eyes closed so tight as though my entire dignity could preserve behind my lids. I got down, and I began to dart my tongue in and out of this dude of very few weeks' bumhole. Not long after, he reached back for my head and brought me up to meet his, and I think to myself, it's over! You made it! And in the distance of my imagination, I can hear the sound of a game show audience enthusiastically applauding and cheering for my victory. He pulls my face to his and goes in to kiss me. I try to spare him my tongue, but he fishes mine out, leaving buckets of saliva behind in my mouth. I am so never pretending to be rolling again, I promise myself. Just then, without skipping a beat, Zach pulls an object out from under his bed. It was a fucking banana! Now, this is a familiar item. One I've seen many times in a lunchbox as a kid and famously shown on the fruit hat of a Chiquita. So I considered to myself, hoping, praying that the ecstasy has made this wild motherfucker hungry for a healthy snack packed with potassium. But no such luck shined down on me that evening. That's right. This insane motherfucker pulled out the banana and began to slowly and seductively pat his fucking ass with it while looking at me dead in the eyes. Now, this is when most of you good, fine, respectable humans in the audience would decide that this is it. This is the moment that young Sunny makes the big reveal that she has fucked up. She lied, and she is not currently rolling. In fact, you're probably hoping that she admits she's scared and in desperate need of a safe word, and to make this, whatever this is, stop immediately. But instead of doing what my heart begged me to do, which was to excuse myself out of the room, go running home to a priest, and cry to my mommy, I grab the banana out of his hand. I push his head down into the pillow and I said, "You fucking want this, bitch?" I did. I don't know what came over me. It was as though I had temporarily floated out of my body and took residency on the ceiling. I was looking down at myself, going through the motions while I watched from somewhere above the bedroom scene. There I was, drilling this ripe, yellow, extraordinarily girthy fruit into my boy. I think my passions must have been combined with absolute hate that I had for this person for asking me to accommodate this shit on my Valentine's Day. He squealed. He squirmed. Y'all, he even backed that ass up a few times. Then, without warning or indication, he came. He rolled over like a thump of a thing and curled in a ball and fell asleep snoring. I, however, was left very awake, sitting up still in the straddle position, holding a brutalized banana in my hand. I stared over at him in the dark for a long time, considering my future ahead. I finally tossed the banana into the trash by his bedroom door. I showered in a temperature most was sizzling to attempt to sanitize my sins. Then I crawled into bed next to him, quiet and still, but hardly sleeping for the rest of the night. Now morning eventually came, and his annoying roommate Travis was heard outside our door yelling, "Wake up, bitches! Breakfast burritos on me!" I was in no mood for a burrito or for any object I could no longer innocently look at as something edible. It is now permanently seen as something my fiance would want me to fuck him with. Ugh. When we didn't respond right away, the roommate took it upon himself to burst in, jump in the bed with us, and start making farting noises, giving my guy wet willies and knuckles to the head. Once we finally agreed to join this douche turd for breakfast, he got up off the bed and headed out for the room. But not before looking into the small, open trash can next to the door. That's right, where our secrets of last night dwelled. Ew, what the fuck is this, bro? He grabs with his bare fucking hands. The sexed, ass-bang, tortured fruit from the night before. As I sit up in humiliated shock, not knowing what to possibly say to make this moment go away, I look over to my fiancé, who is shaking his head fucking no and pointing his fingers at me. Travis then shoots me a big-ass grin and says, "Ah, shit. My dude's banging a crazy one. No wonder he's marrying you. Hell yeah!" And goes into high-five my fiancé. Now, I knew this was the moment I had to split. I snuck out moments later while they were both in the living room playing video games, waiting for me to get dressed and eat burritos. But our routine was no longer appealing. I left a note on the bed that said, "We're over." And P.S., I didn't take X last night. I grabbed the tape from out of the video camera and drove away, pulling it out the window while cranking Gwen Stefani's Giving Life a Whole New Meaning to This Shit is Bananas. BANANAS.